today we're going to be making this cute happy birthday card using our watercolor paper and some fun techniques. So what you're going to need to make this card is the birthday wishes for you stamp. We're going to be using the main happy birthday, and then the love what you do stamp as well, and we'll be using this big stamp right here to get that watercolor effect. You'll also need your aqua painter. You'll need your lovely lipstick paper cut at 8.5 by 5.5 and scored down the middle, which is 4 1/4. Your watercolor paper, which will be 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and then a scrap piece of basic black paper because we'll be cutting out the frame to this card using the stitched rectangle framelets. We'll be using the biggest one and the one right below that. You'll also need ink to get your pretty colors, so we'll be using Lovely Lipstick, Grapefruit Grove, and Pineapple Punch. And then last but not least, that Memento ink. And then your basic snail, dimensionals, and rhinestones to add your little touch to the card. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to take your watercolor stamp, and we are going to take all of the fun colors. So again, that Pineapple Punch, Lovely Lipstick, and Grapefruit Grove. And so what we're going to do is we're going to squeeze the case, and we're going to get some of that ink on the top of the case, so that way we don't have to go in with our aqua painter on the pad, but we'll be using the stuff on top instead. So what you're going to do is you're going to squeeze a little bit of your water out while you're swirling it around in there, and you want to get a little bit of the color, and we're just going to go in to the stamp and just add it on. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my aqua painter and I'm going to clean it off on a scrap piece of paper. And it doesn't need to be anything special, you just need it to get that extra color off before you go into your next one. Now I'm going to use Grapefruit Grove, again squeezing to get that ink on the front. And there's no rhyme or reason to how I'm doing this, it's just whatever. Now I want to blend the colors together so that way you get that seamless blend between the Lovely Lipstick and that Grapefruit Grove. And cleaning off the aqua painter. And then Pineapple Punch, squeezing the pad again. Perfect. And cleaning it one last time. Now I'm going to take my watercolor paper and I'm going to stamp the image on there, right in the center. Oh, just kidding. I'm going to use our pad that goes underneath the paper, so that way when you're using your photopolymer stamps, it gives it a little bit more cushion and you're going to get the full effect of the stamp. Give it a good press. Ta-da! And see, it kind of is separate here in the center, and that's okay. What you could do if that happens to you, this is a photopolymer stamp, so you can go in with your aqua painter again and just color in the spot where you left some of that orange color or Lovely Lipstick out. And then just stamp, get it the right way, and then stamp it again. Yep, and that worked a little bit. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's watercolor, or it's supposed to look like watercolor. So the next step we want to do is we want to take, you can let this dry, or I use our heating tool and I help the process along a little bit. So I'm going to do that here real quick. If you don't end up drying your watercolor paper fully, and you take your next stamp, which is the happy birthday stamp, and you put your black ink on it, the black ink is going to end up bleeding, which is what you don't want. So make sure that's fully dry. Next, I'm going to take the happy birthday stamp. Mom and I always talk about, we don't know, I'm somebody who takes the black Memento ink and I stamp with the ink onto the stamp. She's one where she lays down the Memento and goes like this with the stamp. Doesn't matter what you do. Okay. And then next thing you're gonna do is just stamp it on there, making sure you get it centered and straight. Giving it a good press. Ta-da! So now that that's done, this is where the fun part comes in. I am actually gonna swap out for an older version of paper that I use, just because I don't want to get this one all messy. And so make sure that you have room or area, or if you have anything nice that you don't want ruined or filled with ink, move that out of the way, because this next part is gonna get messy. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start out with the Pineapple Punch ink, using the same technique we had last time, squeezing that ink pad, getting a little bit of that ink on the cover or on the inside of the case, and you want to squeeze water again into here, swirl it around, make sure you get that color on there good. And now what we're gonna do is you want to take another utensil, it could be anything hard. I'm using our blend, and you're gonna hit the aqua painter onto that hard, it could be a pencil or a pen, and when you do that, you actually are gonna get kind of a splatter effect on your card. So it's a little bit hard to see with the yellow, that Pineapple Punch color, but you get those splatter effects, and so you're gonna do that with all three colors. So this is what the card looks like after you splatter it. To get those drop effects on the card like these, what you're gonna do is you're gonna fill your aqua painter again, surprise, and you're gonna actually bring the aqua painter up as far as you'd like at different heights and squeeze some water, and eventually you'll get a color blob. I'm trying to do this best as I can for you to see. You'll get a blob and it'll splat. And so you wanna do that with all the colors around your card in any way that you would like. And again, to dry your card a little bit faster, you can be using the heating tool. Once everything's dry, it might be a little bit warped, but that's okay because we're going to be adhering this down. Next up we're going to do is we're going to take the basic black cardstock, and we are going to use the stitched rectangle framelets, and you're going to be using the biggest one, if I can get it off. You'll be using the biggest one and the second largest one. And you're gonna run that through your Big Shot. I typically do the first, the largest die set, and then I will take that piece and then run my second one through. So I'm gonna do that right now. This is eventually what you come up with, and this is gonna sit nicely on your watercolor paper. Next thing is pretty simple. We're just gonna grab some of our mini dimensionals. And believe it or not, we're gonna actually cut our mini dimensionals in half because the dimensionals are too big to fit underneath our frame. Great, now we have that done. So all we have to do is peel off the back. And I'm gonna actually leave this after I put the watercolor paper on our lovely lipstick. So I'm gonna fold this in half, score it at 4 1/4. I'm gonna use my bone folder to make sure I get a good edge on there. Then I'm gonna go and use my snail tape and just run it along the sides. Oh, of course. And then I get a cat hair in it. I don't think I could get that out. So whoever gets this card gets the cat hair. If you ever get a card from me and Mom, there's probably a cat hair somewhere in it. So if you're allergic to cats, I'm sorry. And then we're gonna pop it on to our lovely lipstick. Give it a good press. Now I'm gonna put my frame on. There we go. And then our last touch is to add rhinestones. And then you can use your great picker tool to pick up the rhinestones. Really easy. Another option you could do is you could always color these rhinestones and add them onto your card. You just want to color them on here first, let them dry, and then pick them up. Let's put a big one on here too. Ta-da! And that's your cute little fun artsy crafty birthday card. Thanks for joining us.